He built himself a business. He built himself a business, a brand, made himself into. Sorry. Made himself into. I'm the host.
Yeah.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to. What did you do?
She just like waved.
I didn't know it started yet.
Well, hey everybody.
That's a good look.
Thanks, man.
It's like we know what we're doing.
Well, hey everybody, my name's Jason Stum, your host here on Think Bigger, and I'm really excited. We're back for episode 3. I'm going to be joined by HondaPro Jason, and if you don't know HondaPro, you're going to want to know him real quick because he's got a lot to teach us. And he made himself into a business, a brand, and quite frankly, an internet sensation just by using his personality, a YouTube channel, and a healthy dose of big thinking. He's got over 9 million views on his YouTube channel. He's got 35,000 subscribers, 37,000 Facebook fans. The guy has built himself a platform. And what's really cool about this is Jason is used to being in front of the camera, hosting the show, leading the show, but today he's gonna be the guest. So we're gonna flip things around on him a little bit. And I'm really excited. I can't wait to get going. So let's do this. Let's head on over to the booth and start thinking bigger right now. Let me just say, I'm really, Jason, honored to have you on the show.
Thanks, dude.
I've been stalking you for a while now.
I've been noticing.
Been a while now. I'm like, we gotta talk to HondaPro. This guy has a think bigger mindset. And kind of the first question I've been asking everybody is just when you hear the words think bigger,
Yeah.
what does it mean to you?
Just think larger than yourself. You know, think outside what you normally do. Think outside your regular job, outside your regular friends and family, and what the potential could be if you really just got out of your zone. That's what I think of when I think of think bigger.
I think that's a fair way to say it. Everyone has a different interpretation of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's great about, these conversations that I get to have with the guests that come on is it means a little something different to everybody. And then as a viewer, we can kind of build what we think bigger means, what we think bigger means. So that makes sense. So I just really want to take it back a little bit. I like to kind of get everyone's history before we talk about what they're doing right now and then what we can pass on to our audience.
Sure.
So you've been around the car biz for quite a while. Where were you? How long ago was it?
I started in car sales back in 1996, February of 96. So it's been a while. And I was a bartender and server before that. And just was always looking, went through a couple years of community college, but wasn't really sure what my job should be, what my real calling was. And I was bartending at the time, and I had bought a 94 Honda Accord and went back to the dealership all the time to talk to them about the car because I was like so impressed with the way the car is built. And it was just awesome. And I was there so often asking them so many questions, bothering them. As soon as I went into the service, you could see all the guys run. Like, oh, here comes this kid that's gonna ask, because I was 26 at the time, he's gonna ask all these crazy questions about the car, and we don't know the answers. And they didn't know the answers. I'd ask them, just like how to change things, how things come apart, how things go back together. And they're like, it's a brand new car. We have no idea how that works. So they're like, you know what? Why don't you just get a job here? You love the car so much. I'm like, sure, but I don't have any training in sales. Like, you don't need training, we'll train you. Like, okay, cool. So I started selling cars and started telling everyone else how impressed I was with the vehicle, and that helped sell many more cars because they knew that I was genuine.
Did you ever see yourself becoming a car salesman prior to that?
No.
No. I think a lot of us who got into the car biz have a similar story. Never in a million years would we thought we ended up there, but through circumstance, we end up there.
Over my 19 years, I met many people from many professions, from people that were, aeronautical engineers to janitors, and they all somehow end up selling cars. It's the strangest.
It's weird.
It's weird, right?
It's weird. Because it's a land of opportunity. It really is.
That's true.
It really is. So, 96, you're there, you're working at Schaumburg Honda as a sales professional. Now, this is obviously 96, the internet was just coming online. So there probably wasn't anything you were doing there. But so there's obviously this transition that goes from starting in the sales department and then working your way towards utilizing video and becoming HondaPro.
Yes.
Let's get into the origin story, if you will. I'm a big superhero guy. Let's talk about the origin story
of HondaPro.
Of HondaPro Jason.
So the origin story of HondaPro Jason, back when Bluetooth started, Bluetooth hands-free in cars and stuff, when that started, that whole thing started, the technicians that were really good at fixing mechanical parts of the car, but not the best at the electronics and setting them up, would always call me back to help with Bluetooth issues. I was a salesman, but I knew a lot about the cars. I was in them all the time, and I was always trying to figure out different ways they operated and worked. And I would set up different scenarios in my head to see if I could get the car to fail. Just because I thought that was fun, then I knew when it failed, how to correct it for a customer. So a customer would call up, be like, hey, my Bluetooth doesn't work. Okay, follow these steps and tell me what happens. And I just kind of diagnose it myself. So back in the service department, they called me up and they'd be like, hey, could you fix this for us? Sure. One day they had a problem with Bluetooth, and somebody just happened to mention, hey, why don't you go grab that HondaPro guy? He's a pro at Honda. He knows everything about these cars. Call him over. And I'm like, wow, HondaPro. So that kind of stuck in the dealership as HondaPro. And then I just added Jason.
Because that's your name.
Because that's my name.
So that works.
It works.
That'd be weird if
very
your
well.
name was Jeff. But you know what? HondaPro Jeff doesn't have the
No, let's
same
just
ring
go
as
with-
HondaPro
no.
Jason.
So I just added Jason, and HondaPro Jason was born, you know?
So at that time, so it's just kind of like the internal nickname, right? We all
It
kind of
was,
have our
yes.
nicknames. It's,
Yes.
you know,
Luckily, that was a nice one.
my nickname was
HondaPro.
No Gross Jason, not as complimentary as HondaPro Jason.
Was that like where someone gives you the opposite of what you really are?
No gross, meaning all the cars I sold, we didn't make a whole lot of money.
Oh, that kind
didn't
of
make a whole
gross.
lot of money
Not
on.
that you
That's
pick
actually
your nose and
that's how I
everything.
got into the marketing side. It was like this stum kid. He's not making any money selling cars. Let's find him something
You're
else
probably
to do.
too nice.
I probably was.
That was the problem.
I get told that a lot. I'm too nice. So all right. So it's just kind of this internal nickname, HondaPro Jason.
Yeah.
At what point in time did you start to realize that maybe there is something here? Maybe this is a brand that I can build. I can become that something bigger than yourself.
I don't know when that actual turning point was. Like, I never really thought about it. I was the guy that everyone would send their customers to. Their customers had a problem with Bluetooth, had a problem with their CD player, had a problem with anything electronic on the car, they'd send it to me. They'd be like, hey, can you set up their door locks? Can you do me a favor, Jason? Can you set them up? I was that go-to person. And when other dealerships started calling me at that dealership asking questions, that got weird. They'd call from other dealerships and be like, hey, Jason, we heard that you know a lot about this new door lock system.
So you establish yourself at your dealership as the Honda Pro, the guy who just knows
did.
everything about
Yes,
Honda,
I
so
did.
much so that other dealers, competing dealers, are like, we got to get somebody who knows how to do this stuff. Let's give this Jason cat a call. So. So you establish that, and so obviously the internet begins to mature.
Yeah.
Video becomes a regular part of our lives, and you've obviously seen some kind of need to start producing videos that help do some of this stuff. Take us through that process of how you got there.
There was a turning point. There was a turning point where I said, listen, I need to do videos because I need to expand the people that I'm reaching. Right now I'm reaching people in my dealership, and then obviously some people outside my dealership by phone, but there has to be a way that I can reach them in a larger scale. So one day some guy comes in and he's like, hey, listen, I want to trade my car. And one of the questions you probably know being a salesperson, you ask is, well, what do you want your new car to do for you that your old car didn't? And then they will tell you, then you can land them on the right car. This guy said, you know, I have this Accord, it's 2008 Accord, and I really wish the back seats went down. I have longer items, exactly, you know where I'm going with this. Longer items that won't fit in there. And sometimes he said, I gotta borrow a truck or someone else's car because I have these big items and these back seats go down. They won't go down. And I'm like, come here for a second, let me show you something. He goes, what? I go, your back seats do go down. He goes, no, they don't. I go, no, they do. He goes, I'll bet you. You don't have to bet me, let me show you. So I pull the two tabs, I push the two seats down. He goes, son of a gun, I never knew that. So I started thinking about all the other stuff he doesn't know about his car and how he could have walked into a competitor's product and said, I want my back seats to go down, and Nissan, Ford, Toyota, Mazda, Infiniti would be like, oh yeah, no problem, here you go. And he would have bought them and never would have bought another Honda. And I want people to keep buying Hondas because I love the brand. And as far as I'm concerned, if I saw nothing but Hondas on the road, I'd be happy. So I showed him something he didn't know about the car, and his salesman might or might not have shown him. So I started thinking about maybe I can do a video and show people on the new Accord all the cool stuff it has. And so I did. And I called it Tips and Tricks on the new Accord. And I had salesmen from all over the country contact me saying, you know, I never knew the car did this. And then people that bought the car said, I never knew the car did that. Now I can enjoy my car so much more than I did before. I'm like, wow, this is cool. So I started a YouTube channel, and I put this video on that channel, and it's blossomed very quickly.
I mean, what was your personal motivation? Were you thinking, hey, here's a way I'm going to sell me more cars for making these videos, or was it simply just, hey, I want to educate people, I'm an advocate of the Honda brand, and I want to share my love of it with everybody else?
What you said exactly true. I had no desire. If it helped me sell cars, that was great, but I was selling cars at the dealership. I really took this on as a side project to help educate people on what was going on. And I never thought that it would turn into what it is now, because it's present day, it's a full-time career. And it was something fun I did on the side. I thought it would be cool to do. If I don't get at least 250 to 300 people watching each video, it's not worth doing the videos. And current day, I have an average of about 35,000 people watching each video.
Wow.
So it's definitely grown, and I can't imagine if 250 people watch my videos still doing them. But back then, that was my goal.
Right.
So
well, because it was better than 12 people watching your video.
It was better than 12, and at the time, I had walked through all of the departments in my store. I said, hey, listen, have you watched my new video? Can you please watch my new video? Every person individually, can you please watch my new video? Because I knew that more people watching means more people watching. And so eventually that grew, and again, it just seems silly to walk up to everyone in my current position and go, hey, would you mind watching my video real
Although
quick?
you did ask me to watch a video. But anyway, that's right there.
That's true.
But I just want to pause you right there, because you brought up just in your story two things that are recurring themes. As I talk to more people with this think bigger mindset, things that come up. One of them is obstacles.
Right.
And you see this in car dealerships all the time. I've experienced a very similar situation where you're doing something that's outside of the box.
Right.
You're making these videos and you're kind of getting these sideways glances or just avert, hey dude, you're wasting your time kind of messages, and that's an obstacle. Big thinkers tend to share what they're trying to accomplish with everybody. Okay. Right? They want people to know that, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm trying to achieve. So by you going around to every person in your dealership, to all the departments, saying, hey, have you seen my video? Could you watch it for me? You're letting people know. So it's once again, you probably didn't realize or not, but just as I talk to more and more people on the show, they all exhibit these same kind of big thinking behaviors. So
makes sense.
You're definitely doing it, man. You're definitely rocking it up.
Thanks, man. So I started a show, and I cleverly named it the HondaPro Show, because, well, it's my show. And I thought of an idea. I thought, you know what, I'll do 3 segments, a fun fact, and a giveaway. Because on YouTube, there's a couple of guys I used to watch that used to do these giveaways. I'm like, you know what? I can do giveaways. I can give away like Honda apparel, like hoodies or hats or bags or cups or mugs, Type R mugs, whatever I could get my hands on, and I could give that away at the end of the show. But I would ask them some very simple question. Things like, are you right-handed or left-handed? Like, that would be a question legit that I ask people, because I want everyone to answer.
Sure.
I thought more comments on my YouTube channel brought in more views. That was my thinking.
That's good thinking.
Right? A little bit more interaction with my fans. And so I started the channel and the HondaPro Show, which was actually first shot on an iPhone 3GS.
I had one of those.
Those are nice, right?
Yeah.
And I sat in the front seat as my camera person held the camera as level as he could,
shaky cam,
right next to me. And the lighting was not ideal, obviously, and I was just sit there and we just do a show. And it was pretty much done almost with one take, like no break in, no breaks, no nothing. And I made some little music for it, and I had a show. So now we have a full studio with real equipment and lighting and green screen, and it's gone way beyond.
At what point in time did you really start to realize, hey, I'm on to something here. This is something.
Okay. The first time I knew I was on to something is I was back in the parts department talking to the guys about buying some new hoodies for my show. And I'd buy 4 or 5 hoodies for my show, and I'd give them away. And I'm sitting there, and they'd call my name over the intercom that I have a phone call. And in sales at this time, a couple years back, you normally didn't get phone calls at the dealership. Everything went through your cell phone. So I'm like, that's strange. Let me just pick this up here. I pick up the phone, and that guy goes, hey, this is so-and-so from American Honda in Torrance, California. Is this HondaPro Jason? I'm like, yeah, this is HondaPro. And now the conversation could go 2 ways. It could either go, wow, we really like what you do, or
cease and desist.
Cease and desist. This is your warning. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like starting to beat up with sweat. I'm like, yes, this is. He goes, I just want to let you know that we're big fans of what you do. I'm like,
wow.
This is starting out good. He goes, but it's not just us. He goes, everyone out here in California watches your show, and we really like what you're doing. Like, ooh, that's awesome. Would it be okay if we sent you a box full of swag? I go, yeah, that would be okay. What's your address? Give him my address. And lo and behold, about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I get this big box with this beautiful winter jacket that I still wear to this day, a couple of hats, a bunch of lanyards, a bunch of keychains, a whole bunch of Honda stuff that I was able to give out on my show. And that was the first time that Honda actually reached out to me. And I knew from that point forward that I have something. Like, if I caught the attention of Honda and they like what I'm doing, I'm going to keep doing it. And that I told pretty much everyone I knew that Honda had contacted me.
Well, yeah, I would too. I would have made a video just about that.
And then they started following me on all my social media pages.
Oh, with the official Honda
The
channels.
official Honda channel.
Interesting.
Twitter and YouTube, they followed me. And on my Facebook pages, they followed me. My Google Plus pages. And that was kind of cool. So
Yeah.
they were definitely watching me.
So your relationship with Honda today, is it still, obviously then they called to let you know that they were impressed with what you're doing. They sent you a big box of swag for you to, give away on your show. Today, what's the relationship like with Honda? Is it any more formal?
No, it's more friendly. If anything, it's much more friendly. And we work a lot closer together than we did back then. I thought we worked pretty good together. At least I thought we were working together, but they were just kind of on the sidelines watching me. And I was like, oh yeah, Honda's watching all my stuff. So I'm thinking, I'm working kind of with them a little bit. And as time goes on, this channel's getting bigger and bigger, and now I'm getting into the 1 million people viewing my shows. So about a year ago, a company contacts me and like, hey, listen, we want you to work for us. I'm like, oh, that's awesome, thanks, but I have a job. That was really kind of like, well, hear us out. So I had a meeting, and they do a lot of work with Honda and advertising with Honda. And they have other companies within their company that also works with Honda. And it really looked like a way for me to branch out and help way more people than I was helping before.
Right.
So I made the step. I'm like, listen, I want to continue to do what I'm doing. I just want to do it on a bigger scale. So we agreed, and I had left car sales. As soon as I left car sales, the next car show was the Chicago Auto Show. And at the Chicago Auto Show, it was amazing. I met a lot of the corporate people from Honda, because I got to meet the president and CEO of Honda of America, okay, Mr. Yamada. And it was a real brief meeting, but I knew who he was before because he was the president of Honda.
Mm-hmm.
I know who he is, of course. We met very briefly, we were introduced. He was very interested in what I was doing, so much so that the next day when I saw him in another meeting, Mr. Yamada, it's good to see you. I met you yesterday. He goes, I know who you are. You're HondaPro Jason. I'm like, yeah, that was nice. He remembered my name. He goes, actually, I watched all your shows last night. Not all of them, but I watched many of them. And then he started reciting my lines back to me. He goes, awesome. He goes, smells like Honda. I go, what? He goes, you're in the know. And so here's this Japanese man repeating all of my lines back to me with a Japanese accent. I'm dying. And first, I'm super impressed. Like, I don't even know what to say. He took the time to watch my shows, which just humbled me beyond belief.
Absolutely.
And so we spoke for a little while, and then at the Chicago Auto Show, already I'm out of the car sales, and I start to meet some of the PR people from Honda. And they come up to me and they're like, hey, listen, Mr. Yamada told us to meet you because he thought you were very interesting. And he said that if you needed anything at all, that we should help you. That's a pretty big call. I'm like, well, you guys have like these events where you send, journalists out for these media events for these new cars. Do you have any coming up? They're like, yeah, we have the HRV coming up. I'm like, well, I'd love to go. I'm like, well, it's coming up in a couple weeks. Like, we can't just put you in, we're full. And I stood up real bright and tall and said, well, Mr. Yamada said anything I want. And there's like 3 of them standing there, and they all look at me and they're like, let's see what we can do. So they called, and lo and behold, there was one cancellation, and they slipped me right in.
Nice.
And during that, which was out in California, during the HRV, one of them pulled me aside and they said, you know what, Jason, we're really happy you're not in car sales anymore. I'm like, why? What was there in there that I didn't know about? Like, what was going on? They go, no, you misunderstand us. We couldn't really support you when you were in car sales because there was a conflict of interest with all the other dealerships. If we supported you, we'd have to support everyone at every dealership, and that wouldn't be fair. Like, that was the only way to do it. So now that you're not in car sales, we can help you, you can help us, let's build this huge. And that was really the beginning of me working not for Honda, but with Honda. And Honda, luckily, it started sending me out to journalist events all over the United States. And then I started going out of the country. So we flew out. I took my girlfriend at the time, my wife now. We flew out to the Netherlands. We went all through Germany. We did an event out, a Type R event out in Germany. A Type R event out in Germany, which was amazing for the new Type R. Then we went out to the Netherlands and did Honda Fest, and that's really where I realized that I was known globally. Like, you don't really, you're like, oh yeah, people like, they tweet you and they send you messages. Sure. I'm from Germany, I watch all your stuff, it's cool. I'm like, oh, that's great, someone from Germany watches my stuff. But then you go to that country. And I was standing there, and I'll never forget it. There was a time I'm standing and talking to this one guy about a car, and my girlfriend comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, Jason, you might want to hurry up." I'm like, "Why? What's up?" She goes, "Look." And I look down, and there was a line of no less than 35 people standing there waiting to talk to me with books and pens waiting for me to sign things they drew for me, things they built for me, little toy cars. This guy took a Matchbox car, took it apart, spray painted it orange to match my own personal car, and then put little details like my car, and then glued it all back together, put it in a glass case, and handed it to me.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I was like, this is crazy.
That's either the awesomest thing that ever happened or the creepiest thing that ever happened.
No, it was awesome. No, up until that point, it blew my mind. I needed a small suitcase, no joke, to take home with all the extra stuff people gave me. In the Netherlands, who would have thunk?
In the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So this is, let's transition to this here, because I know everyone, and you and I could just talk to you for hours on end. But we got.
Do we have a time limit?
No, yes, we do. We do. So we can't. So we really need to transition this so we can turn it around for our viewers to give them some actionable information. And like I said, we've been talking video in the dealership, how to use it for at least 8 years now. Okay. At the most recent digital dealer conference, there was no less than 6 breakout sessions on using video in the dealership.
Makes sense.
So it is still a hot topic.
Yeah.
So let's give our viewers some stuff that they can use to go down this road if they want to go down this road, whether it's for themselves, for a personal brand, or just to help build the halo of their own dealership or automotive group. I mean, just general advice.
Two different
Think
thoughts.
bigger advice.
That's exactly what I'm about to talk about, is the think bigger advice.
Yeah.
2 different schools of thought. One school of thought says you should go on camera and say, "Hey, I'm Jason Richmond. I sell Hondas. Come buy a Honda from me. Here's the number. I'm going to give you a great deal on this car right here." That's one school. I really like the educational part. And I think the people that try to educate other people and explain to them about the car, ways the cars can improve or enhance their lives, and then if you'd like more information, you can contact me. Not so much as, "Give me a call, I'm going to give you a great deal on this car right here." People, I don't think, want to hear that. They hear that every time they go into a dealership. Mm-hmm. So sure, are you going to be making this big, long video with a little bit about yourself at the end? Yes, you are. But you're going to educate people. It's going to be more fulfilling, and I think more people are going to react to it and engage with you than if you just said, "Here's the phone number, call this number for a good deal."
Sure.
So that's what I really think, that you don't need special equipment. I started with an iPhone. You can start with an iPhone. You don't really need anyone to film you if you don't want. You can just film the car and just explain how the car can better enhance someone's life.
Right.
And put it on whatever channels you have, or just put it in an email and send it out to people. I think they'll appreciate it, not just when they're looking to buy the car, but what I found out is after they had bought the car. You know, you buy a car in the summer, you might not need to know anything about traction control if you live in a wintry state. So when the winter comes in, send them a video about traction control. Explain to them what they could see happen, or in the 4-wheel drive system, how the 4-wheel drive system works to help them. They'll not only like it, but they'll probably share that video with other people that are looking for cars. And then you'll just slowly start to expand, you know?
Right. No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a common point when it comes to doing any kind of content creation. If you're doing it for kind of like a selfish reason.
Right.
Hey, I hear that if I make videos, I'm going to sell 10 more cars.
Exactly.
And you're not passionate about your product. Clearly, you're passionate about Honda. Just like
why would you say anything about my passion towards the brand of Honda?
It's just something about you.
Really? Anything in particular? You want me to bring my Honda hat and Honda jacket
it's
out?
Something you just like exude, like I like Hondas, kind of?
I do a little bit, yeah.
But if
I
you're
say
not
it's in my blood.
Do you bleed blue? Do you bleed blue blood? Are you
A blue blood bleeder?
a blue blood bleeder?
I am,
He's a blue
actually.
blood bleeder.
Yeah.
Oh, I was told I wasn't allowed to sing on Think Bigger anymore.
Can't imagine why.
I don't know. I'm such a great singer.
Episode 2? I'm sorry. I do watch your episodes, by the way, and
Thanks. I watch yours.
I was very excited to find out that I'd be a guest on the show.
Nice.
Really, I think the show's cool. I think the idea is great. I think it'll help people. It'll, like I want to do, I want to educate and entertain.
Correct.
And I think this show educates and entertains people.
Yes.
So
Cool.
I hope it grows into something bigger than you think it's going to do.
Well, I think we followed the same approach because we're doing that for the very same reasons.
Yeah.
Think Bigger exists, not because I'm like, hey, I want to be on camera and have a show. No, it's to educate people, to help people become the best versions of themselves possible, and hopefully they'll, tell their friends about it. More people tune in, and it will grow and turn into something. Yeah. When the President of the United States calls and says, Jason, I've been watching your show.
Right.
And you've really inspired me to think beyond today and tomorrow.
See?
And to help me achieve my biggest ambition.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that with a straight face. So, okay, so back to what we're talking about here. So for tips.
Yes.
So you got to have passion. You can't just do it for selfish reasons.
You have to have passion. Yeah, whatever you're trying to sell or talk to somebody about, I definitely say you have to have the passion, not just for selfish reasons.
Right. And then you want to engage, educate, and entertain if at all possible.
Yeah, if you can.
If you can.
I understand not everyone's an entertainer, but I think everyone can educate if they're a professional in their field, which they should be if they're doing this. And if you're not, you should find a field that you're a professional at. You should find that area that you're a professional at and push as hard as you can in that field.
Absolutely.
Which makes sense.
So here's an interesting fun fact that I discovered about you that you may not know about yourself.
Oh, wow, I like fun facts.
Especially ones about yourself that you may not know. Of course, knowing you probably do, but I'll say this. So we talked about how you grew this YouTube channel, and now it's got over 9 million views, and you have this relationship. Well, as I was doing a little pre-show research, I was watching some of your videos, and you were just at the Detroit Auto Show.
I was.
In my backyard, and I'm disappointed you didn't call me to come hang out because I live in the Detroit area. But anyway, whatever. So you're there and you're covering the new 2017 Honda Ridgeline.
Amazing truck.
Amazing truck, great video. And so I was watching that, and then I saw up on YouTube what was next up was Honda's 2017 Ridgeline video.
Okay.
And the video that you made almost had as many views as the one that Honda made. So to me, that was really impressive because
it is impressive.
I think in dealerships, as people, sometimes we think we can't compete with the big publishers. We can't compete with OEM content. But that proves a point that you can.
I don't look at it as a competition. Because if I get 40,000 views and they get 40,000 views, that's 80,000 views total that people get to look at the new Ridgeline, hopefully like the new Ridgeline, then go out to their dealerships and drive one and eventually buy one and enjoy it and make their lives better and more fulfilled. That's kind of how I look at it.
Right.
People come up to me often and they're like, hey, listen, do you know this one guy started a YouTube channel or a Facebook page? He's using HondaPro with his name on it. He's your competition. No, he's not. A lot of times I'll contact them and, hey, listen, I saw you did HondaPro Joe. If you need any help, let me know. If you have any questions, if there's anything that you come up with and you're not sure how to react to it or whatever, let me help you. Because there can be plenty of people that do what I do.
Sure.
And we all win. That's the way I look at it. The more the merrier.
Yeah. And when I say competition, I mean from a search perspective. So somebody types in 2017 Ridgeline. How is my video ever going to show up when you got the manufacturer, when you got Motor Trend, when you got all those things?
I do want them to watch my video over someone else's video, of course, because I put a lot of time and effort into that.
Well, sure.
Video.
You want people to see it,
But
so you
after
can,
my
as
video, they can watch other people's videos.
Right. So as an individual, you can compete content-wise with the big publishers of the world, with the OEMs of the world.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know I had as many views as Honda on something.
Almost
like that.
as many. So HondaPro Jason, thank you so much, my man, for coming on the show.
My pleasure, brother.
Truly appreciate you spending some time with the Think Bigger audience here today. If anybody has some questions, wants to pick your brain a little bit, what's the best way for somebody to get in touch with you?
Easiest way would be email, jason@hondaprojason.com.
And you're on the Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
HondaPro Jason.
Oh, simple enough.
Ask me what my Instagram is.
What's your Instagram?
HondaPro Jason. What about Facebook?
What's your Facebook?
HondaPro Jason.
What's your MySpace?
I'm not on MySpace. Ever.
Ever. The easiest way to find it, just look up for HondaPro.
Just look up HondaPro Jason.
Maybe subscribe to his YouTube channel.
If you'd like.
Or maybe watch a few of his videos.
If you'd like to stay in the know.
Even if you don't work at a Honda dealership.
No big deal. I'm here to help.
Go right on, brother. Really appreciate it, my man.
Cool, dude.
Talk to you soon.
Yep.
Well, there you go, guys. Another episode of Think Bigger is in the books. I hope you learned a thing or two. I know I didn't. So take care, guys. See you next Tuesday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, only on the Autotainment Network, where we think bigger.